Hello and welcome to Take Time. I am your host, Patrick Marlett. In today's episode, we'll be taking time with Michael Culyba, director and producer of the upcoming feature-length film, Keeper of Time. In it, Michael will not only be exploring the history of horology, but the art of fine mechanical watchmaking, as well as the concept of time itself. So join me as we sit down with Michael to discuss the upcoming film, as well as the accompanying Kickstarter campaign set to help create this project.
My name's Michael Culyba, and I'm the producer-director for Keeper of Time, a new feature-length documentary that is currently in production. Well, I've always worn a watch. As a young kid, wearing Casio digital watches. I think I got one when I was 7, and then in high school and junior high, Swatch watches. And I always wanted a nice watch, and I don't think I at the time knew what that even meant, except that equated to like a Rolex or something like that, right? So anyways, just a couple of years ago, I finally was just like, I'm gonna buy myself a nice watch. And I got this Tudor Black Bay Heritage 36. I got it on the leather strap with this great deployant buckle. And this is the watch that I wear most of the time. And yeah, this thing is, I'll have this the rest of my life. This watch I love. I love Tudor in general. And quickly became fascinated with the craftsmanship and engineering that goes behind making these timepieces. At the same time, I had been looking to do my own film, my own documentary. So these two things sort of collided, and one thing led to another, and next thing you know, I'm making a feature-length documentary about the history of horology. The thing about it is, and I think what's fun about it is, making the film has really been a journey in me learning about watches, watch movements, how they're made, while I make the film. So that makes it fun and exciting for me. Most of us think of it in sort of Newtonian terms, and that is this time being this sort of linear constant that flows from sort of point A to B constantly. And it really turns out that that's not the case. At a certain level, getting down to the quantum level, time ceases to exist. Francois-Paul Journe of FP Journe, he's already been interviewed here in New York while he was here, but I'll be filming him in his workshop in Geneva, Switzerland. I mean, his watches are just technically masterpieces, and just they're works of art. The other watchmaker that has agreed to be in the film, and I'll be filming him this fall or winter, is Roger W. Smith. And of course, he apprenticed under George Daniels, and his watches are just exquisite. The other watchmaker that I really want to get in the film is Philippe Dufour. His watches again are just artistic masterpieces, and his finishing on his watches and movements are like second to none. The only American watchmaker that I'm featuring in the film is Roland Murphy of RGM Watch Company. And Roland Murphy is the only American watchmaker making his own in-house movements in series. He also does guilloche work, engine turning on his dials. So we filmed him doing that, and it's just really incredible. I mean, that's a craft unto itself. So what you're about to see is clips from the Kickstarter video that I just put together, and you'll see a lot of the footage that we've already shot with some of these watchmakers I just talked about.
There's life in a watch. There's something very human about a watch. It's a reflection of our own creation in certain ways.
This is an engineering lesson inside a history lesson inside of a beautiful painting. I don't think there are many other physical objects in the world now that really have all of these attributes at once.
The sun, the moon, the observable stars and constellations, the natural world served as the basis and source of inspiration for all the earliest timekeeping instruments.
parce que ça vient comme un dessinateur fait un tableau ou une peinture. Et là, ça devient très compliqué de faire sonner une montre chaque quart d'heure en répétant l'heure et le quart durant plus de 24 heures.
This is one of the first watches I ever owned. This is a Tag Heuer Formula One F1, and I think this is in the first series that they came out with this. I think I got this in 89 or 90. I think I was a junior or senior in high school. And at the time, this was like a bump up from the Swatch. And this, like, you know, it's a quartz watch, and you know, I still think it's a cool watch, and I wear this when I'm cycling or running because it is a quartz movement. It's very lightweight, and the whole dial is lume, so that's kind of cool. I always like that about this watch, is that the whole thing glows. So this is I've always liked Swatches, and then, you know, the System 51 came out, which is a mechanical movement that they manufacture in mass, but it is a mechanical watch. But this particular one is the Hodinkee special edition. Hodinkee always does, like, when they pair with a watch manufacturer, their you know, watches are just, they always do home runs with the design. Everyone, you know, loves Seiko divers, and this is the SKX 13. You know, it's the smaller version of the SKX 7, essentially. It's got a different second hand, but it's day date, and this is the watch I wear on the weekends to the beach. And I've got a many array of NATO straps that I put on this depending on my mood. What I'm hoping the audience ultimately takes away from watching the film and enjoying the film is an appreciation for the craftsmanship and engineering that goes into mechanical watchmaking, and the history of how humans started measuring time and keeping track of time. I think that's a very interesting story up until today, and seeing something and sort of shining a light on something that we normally just take for granted and don't pay much attention to. So I've been shooting for the last few months here locally in New York City. Also gone to Washington, D.C. and Pennsylvania to shoot Roland Murphy. But now I need the funding to expand production. I want to film in Europe at F.P. Journe's in Geneva, Switzerland, his workshop. Roger Smith in Isle of Man. I've gotten permission to shoot at the Royal Observatory Museum in Greenwich, London. John Harrison's Marine Chronometers being the highlight from there, probably. We're looking to raise $100,000 on the Kickstarter to finish filming and finish editing. And one of the things that I'm really excited about are all the rewards we're offering to the Kickstarter backers. Yeah, so if you visit the Kickstarter site, you'll see we have you know, reward tiers starting at $15. And then as you move up, we have some other merchandise from some of the watchmakers that are featured in the film. Signed books by F.P. Journe. We have some merchandise from RGM, iLubes, Case Knives. We have a lot of merchandise from Hodinkee that they've donated, and Ben Clymer, founder CEO there, has signed some of their print magazines, both volumes, as well as the editor-in-chief Jack Forster has signed a set of their print magazine. So we have a lot of different stuff at all different levels for anybody that wants to see this film and make it a reality. I encourage you to go to the Kickstarter site and please be a part of this film. You know, we're going to be filming over the course of the next several months and starting the editing process. And if you want to follow along, the best place to do it is on the Keeper of Time website. That's keeperoftimemovie.com, and you can sign up for our newsletter there. I'll have an ongoing blog there up and running. We're also on social media, so we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and Facebook, and those will be updated on a regular basis as things progress as well. Yeah, so follow along. It'll be a fun ride.
Now, I wish I could say I was a larger part of this project, but I am certainly excited to see it once it's completed. Michael, I wish you all the best in completing Keeper of Time. From what I've seen and what we discussed, I can tell that it's going to be an excellent film for watch enthusiasts like myself, furthering our appreciation of the craft as well as the hobby. Again, my name is Patrick Marlette, and thank you for the time.